Point of order. Point of order. USA Zimbabwe. So for the next motion, on this motion, then we are going to ask for your suggestion on it, because the constant one member is also here in this update. So it's up to you to decide if you are comfortable voting using your emotional card, or you can also continue via secret ballot. For those that are comfortable voting using the emotion card, you can raise your green. For those who want using the secret ballot, you can raise your red.
Oh, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14 greens.
So 14 voted to continue using the emotion card.
Motions committee. The emotion cards are for emotions, but for votes it's voting cards, not emotion cards. Emotion cards can't be used in voting for motions, except just to feel your.
Okay.
So voting cards.
So there's your voting card.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14.
14. Thank you. The motion says this, the continuing IPSF Afro Regional Assembly for all Mr. Sala Samuel, immediate past chairperson of Afro 2025-2026, to the Afro Regional Working Group 2025-2026 from the 1st of October 2025. So we are just going to vote using our voting cards. For those who are voting for it, please let your voting card. For those who are against it, take your card down.
1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 14.
So voting for it, no one against, no one abstained. So congratulations to Mr. Sanders. The next motion then says this, the 14 IPSF Afro Regional Assembly for all Mr. Apologies, you have the typo here. This, the 14th IPSF Afro Regional Assembly for all Mr. Gideon Bonamcha, chairperson of the 14th IPSF African Regional Symposium 2026, to the IPSF Afro Regional Working Group 2025-2026 from the 1st of October to 2025. For those who vote for it, please raise your voting cards. For those who are against it, keep your cards down.
2, 7.
13.
14.
Please raise your cards.
14.
Voted for video to people objects in the under regime. No one abstained, and no one is against that. So, congratulations, Mr. Video. And give you 1 minute if you want to say a word to the audience, to the audience.
Shedon Bonaucha, RPC Rwanda. Thank you so much all of you for putting your trust in me. Putting your trust in me. 2026 is not far. It's tomorrow. Just know that after here, you'll be in a beautiful country. Of thousand hills. We do everything possible to make you guys enjoy what didn't go well in the past IPS. We'll make sure that we collect them. That's what I can promise you. And what I beg you guys, I think this is one of the IPS that had many attendees. So please go and tell your friends in your local association to come in Rwanda. Rwanda is a beautiful country. I know everyone will enjoy. Even both ladies and men will enjoy the country. Thank you.
Thank you. Then we move to the next motion. This motion says this, the 14th IPSF Afro Regional Assembly mandates the regional office to schedule the start of the corresponding regional assembly after the opening ceremony, which will consist of speeches until the flagship ceremony and at least 2 plenary sessions. This motion shall be achieved by the 14th IPSF APS 2026. Once achieved, this motion shall not be reviewed. It was proposed by PSFGH Ghana, seconded by the farm Burkina Faso. We want to give the floor to PSFGH Ghana to highlight this, to motivate this motion, and then we also have a discussion. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So I'll go straight to the point. Yesterday we proposed this motion concerning the RE, the meeting times of our RE, because we realized personally that when we are having the main conference, that is the opening ceremony, the start of the RE actually makes almost half of the population that is listening to the opening ceremony leave and come here. And it doesn't give a good outlook on our organization, on IPSF Afro, in the faces of the people that we go for sponsorships, in the faces of the future leaders that we are learning from, and in the faces of the people we look up to. So this motion is actually being proposed so that we could actually deal with it. Okay. So in actual, what it's actually trying to say is that we are actually going to stay to a certain point in the opening ceremony where it's favorable for both them and us to leave. And then if you look at the second, almost at the second clause, it said, and at least 2 plenary sessions. At least means that we will sit for 2 plenary sessions, and when it gets to the third, we will have to sit down and agree that, okay, where we've got into is okay or not, then we can come for the RA session. So I hope we all understand this. And we are doing this to actually make sure that we give a good outlook, as I said in the beginning, to the people that we invite today, and not make them look like they came and they wasted their time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We are now going to open the floor for comments on this. So feel free to use your Google form if you want to comment or give your perspective on this motion. Rosetta, I have a direct from Gideon, Bonabucha RKC Rwanda.
Okay. Gideon Bonabucha RKC Rwanda. I want to bring a comment to this motion. Actually, to start RA on the first day of the main event is not something you should consider. Let's just start the RA at least on the second day of the event, because you know, you may imagine bringing the guests from different parts, and then when they are speaking in different sessions, the room is empty. That's something you have to correct, and as the motion says, this should start within this must be achieved within the 14th IPSF 26. And I think the chairperson for the conference, he really understands this motion. Thank you.
Thank you. We've got a link from Jemima Sharon Japan, Kapsa Cameroon.
Jemima Sharon, Kapsa Cameroon. I liked in relation to what you said, it's not only about us, or it's not only concerning the speakers that we bring, they have the video, the hall empty and it's going to look funny, but also for us to travel from far and also those from here to learn something. So aside the RA meetings, it's very important that we're also present for the teachings, because a lot of knowledge is passed. We could carry that knowledge back to our communities, and so I think that is very good that we do not have RA's meetings during that time.
Thank you. You've got another again from Rosetta Boom, Kapsa Cameroon.
What I have to say goes in the same line as Jennifer. I feel that us here in the RA, we are missing out on the teachings of the symposium in general. And I'm proposing that the RA can start 2 or 3 days before the start of the symposium. I don't see why they should be happening at the same time.
Before.
I'm sorry, before. I said before.
Yeah. What about
Yes,
the
before even the NIT, yes. So that everybody can participate.
Oh.
Everything is fully and completely.
Point of order. For those who want to speak, kindly use the motion. If not, then it's fine, so that we can move to finish this. So, before I give the floor to the next person, I want to put on some comments. Yes, it helps us also to be able to attend the opening ceremony. But then one of the issues that we've been having is that we can start the RA on the second day, but then some hosts then prefers to give us like 2 days for the RA, and we don't get enough time to finish all the motions. And we end up being forced to use more hours on a single day while people are exhausted, or even maybe the weather conditions are not good or are not favorable for us to be able to sit for many hours. So I want us also to think on that, so that if maybe we need also to request the host of the FPS that they should allocate the minimum days for the RA. Maybe we can set like 3 minimum days and make sure that the RA room will be available for those minimum days, so that we don't end up rushing the RA, which is also the highest decision-making platform we have in the regional office. Because we might say, let us start the RA on the second day, but then the FPS host then say, okay, we do the second day and the third day, and then we close by there, because maybe that's where our financial capacity can allow us to forward. So what do you think about that? You can think on attending the opening ceremony and starting our RA on the second day, but then also request the host to give a minimum of days, maybe let's say 3 days to the RA, so that we can be able to do our RA not on hurry or not in rush or not even exhausted. I don't know what you think about that as well. we proceed with the Google form, let's hear from at least one. Famsa, you are right there.
So I'm Chris from this is actually a problem for us because when we left the mini symposium, my roommate outlined water cancer, and then he started to explain some things that he learned from the symposium. I was like, I really miss a lot. So I'm actually siding with her, at least for us to stay at the symposium at a certain hour before maybe we leave. Maybe at the closures, around maybe remark, when people are making remark and things. But when panel discussion, at least we have to be available to see how best we can learn from them too as well. That's very important for us to do.
Quickly, please, let us hear from Cecilia Chilwa, South Zambia.
Cecilia Chilwa, South Zambia. Just to concur with what everyone has said, in some cases you find that maybe a country has just sent one person to attend the AFPS, and then that person ends up being the official delegate as well. So it means they will not be able to attend the other programs, and they will not have anything to take back home because they would have been stuck in these meetings. So it would be nice if we can actually just change the structure of the symposium and have the RA at the beginning or at the end after the post-symposium. The official delegates can remain and do the RA, but it's best if we do it at the beginning. So we have maybe 3 days or 2 days for official delegates to come and have their RA, and then the LIT can start and everything else proceeds.
All right, thank you. Before we continue, I want to comment on that. You know that currently our NIT is 3 days, and then we give a meeting program can take about 5 or 4 days, plus 2 days for the PST. Currently, NIT is 100. Usually, the package costs $100. The main symposium is 260 for the first phase or 300 for the 5 phase. PST is 150. So if you make the sum, it will be over $500. And one of the issues that we always hear from our members is that our events are somehow expensive. So despite that, we are also going to take flights, costing us money, and then also staying during this period also request all the payment is very high, over $500. Just to mean if you add more days to stay here, maybe 2 days or 3 days, it is going to be an addition of more than $150, more than $150 on that package. And I want us to put this in mind because our RA is our highest decision-making body, and we can all wish to see all 24 member countries seated here so that we can have an open discuss on the matters that can help our federation grow. So then what do you think of that? If we increase the day that we spend during the AFPS and also increase the money we have to pay for us to attend the AFPS, which would also negatively impact the participation from some AMOs or some members. Mr. Mariba.
Okay, I have 2 comments. So on the first one, actually it's quite in line with what Sanu has mentioned. If I'm to give some history, I think before Ghana, main symposium was only for 3 days. That's why we had to start immediately after the opening ceremony. I think all of you have observed we can't finish an A in 1 day. Even following the comments that Desiree gave, when you're making some of these decisions, you have to sit down and think through it. Because honestly, it only takes one bad leader for everything to go bad. You can observe other regional offices for those who have been in IPSF for some time. So rushing through the regional assembly is not the wisest decision because you have to sit down and think through all of those. And maybe taking 6 hours for all of these agenda points might not be sufficient. But the starting of having the RA immediately after the opening ceremony was there because previously other AFPS's main symposium was 3 days. So everything has to be done within the 3 days, including the regional assembly. So we had to start at that time. I think recently it's when the RCs had the financial ability to have 4 or 5 days, but we continued with it. But then if I'm to share even reflections from this FPS, as you can see, there's a whole day for excursion. There's a whole day for public health events. So we have to sacrifice one or the other. Would you want to miss all of these, or like, okay, we can probably attend the whole day of opening ceremony, but then we really need at least 3 days for RA. I think all of you should have noted that by now, because half of us get tired, then also AWG is tired, and then we still have to push you, but at some time we're tired of pushing you, so we just have to go on break. It's quite, like, at least, even I think even in the bidding guidelines for the regional office, it states that the regional assembly needs at least 3 days. I know one comment that might come is we can have an online RA, but I organize an online RA. I've been part of 2 online GAs. Let me tell you, it's hard. It is hard for the AWG itself. So I understand where you're coming from. Maybe we could come into a compromise such that bodies should be willing to wake up very early. If you want to wake up at 4 a.m., we cover more hours. If you want to sleep at midnight, we cover more hours at night after the social events. Because RA is also a very important, IPSF is what has brought all of us together. And the RA is there for us to reflect on how we could continue moving forward. So I think some of those things are important for us to think about. And then also for what Sano has mentioned, from just this array, you see, okay, there's the AWG, there's the assistants to the chairperson of the regional assembly, there's the official delegates, there's the RC that are supposed to support us. If we come 3 days earlier, where will we get assistance? Because for a team like the motions committee, we can't take one person from, more than one person from the same country. It's against our constitution. So it means we will have to fly in other people to come in early to assist in the RA, or how will we be able to proceed with that? Even, I think also when the AWG are planning these things, we also have to sit down and blast the RC and see what is financially feasible, because they're funding literally the whole thing. So there's a lot of implications. I understand where you're coming from. Personally, I've also missed 4 years worth of AFPSs. But then if we're going to make those changes, then let's maybe consider sacrificing more of our morning hours and evening hours, which might make us more tired. And if we're willing to make also the financial sacrifice, then it's okay. Then maybe in the regional budget, we could include maybe extra travel costs for some assistance for the RA. Yeah, but it's a ripple effect. It's not to our liking, because all of us also want to attend, but it's also, the AWG stands are also quite tight. I don't know if you understand. I'm trying to give some better picture. So even for Gideon and Zambia, okay, so you already have a schedule, then maybe you could ensure that there's enough hours for RA if you want nothing to happen in the opening ceremony. Because you have to have an option for us to compensate the number of hours that you are missing ahead. Sorry for the long comments.
It's not working. Sorry.
It's not working. Not working. What? No, it's a new comment, right?
Yeah.
The new comment will come after the direct comment. That's why we are only describing it. Yeah, after Cecilia, then we will come here. Direct comment from Cecilia.
Cecilia Chirwa, Kisa, Zambia. My suggestion for having the RA 3 days before, after listening to the motions committee, I think we can work on how best we can support each member organization in terms of financing. At this point, we can come up with projects or encourage member organizations to come up with projects that will help them raise money so that they are able to support their delegates to come for those days. Because honestly, if we mobilize our member organizations in raising money, it will be easy for them to attend these events. If they work hard in their various countries and come up with projects that will help them raise money, they can send as many delegates as possible. All the issues relating to financing would not be a very big strain. So, and also the organizing country can also work hard in helping to, find the cheapest accommodations and also supporting member organizations to, help with funding some of their travel expenses and things like that. Because at the end of the day, everyone is coming here to learn, network, and take something back home. We can't just be sitting here, this is very important as well, but also what's happening out there is equally as important. So we have to come up with a solution as to how best we're going to make everything work out.
Yeah, thank you, Cecilia, for that very good point. Encouraging them also to make some projects that can even help fund the participation of their members. It makes sense, and of course, it carries weight, and I would like also to make sure that every one of you had it correctly. But then I will raise two things. The first one, we are all here for this period of the main symposium. Some others are going to leave immediately after the main symposium period. I'm very sure that there are some people having exams in the week after this one. And many of our members are students as well. If the main symposium is taking 5 days, elective 3 days, 8 days, VST 3 days, 11 days, plus some other days of addition for the art day, 3 days, it's going to be like 14 days, almost 2 weeks. So then, would it be possible for some members who might be having some exams in this period, because we don't all go on holidays on the same period, but then maybe if it is like 5 days, you can say, okay, let me leave, but then I'll be back. But then if we take 2 weeks, are you comfortable that you're going to leave school for 2 weeks to come to do the LIT, main symposium, attend RA, and so for the PST? That's one. The second, coming to the projects that we have to encourage members to do. It's a very good idea, and for MOs that have been able to implement a project, at least they raise some money, that maybe they talk to their alumni, they raise some funds to support their delegates coming for the AFPs. But then, as we're sitting here, if I would go and ask how many MOs managed to attend at least 4 AFPs in a row, as we sit here, I'm not going to count more than 3. I'm not sure. Just to mean, yes, maybe a project can work out, we get the funding and things like that. But even some sponsors even ask you, what do you have before supporting? What do you have? And if they're asking what do you have, and you have a budget of more than 1K USD, it's going to be somehow challenging. Yes, it can work. Yes, it can work, but then somehow also can be direct. So the thing is, then let us discuss what can we do to make sure that if we come for the AFPS, we are able to attend the opening ceremony, and maybe if you can see if there are some sessions we want to attend, but then also do the RA and not in rush. Make sure that we can complete our RA physically, because even myself I prefer doing it physically, because if you go online, it's going to be played by itself. Yeah. Then what can we do then to make sure that we stick on a budget that most of our members can be able to afford? Make sure that if we come for the FPS, we are able to attend and learn, but also do the RA, and also not take many days out of school. No, kidogo huku. Hizi nanga.
This is to Cecilia's response. Instead of, her suggestion was good about getting sponsorships and all, but I think another way we could try to be involved in both the RA and in the activities the others are being involved in is probably getting recorded sessions of those activities, or if we could get people to probably take meeting minutes or summarize notes of what is going on in this workshop so that we could refer to them after the RA. I feel like that's a way to combine those things together. If it's possible.
Thank you. We've got a direct from Mugara Sandra Gloria, Oops, Uganda.
Here I would comment that during those 3 days we can exclude some activities. For example, activities that can be done in the PST, not to be done during the 3 days. For example, the Zumba. It wasn't necessary today. We would have come for the same assembly instead of it to catch up with time. In that, actually, we would have done everything in 2 days instead of the 3 days. If some activities that are not really necessary were excluded. Yeah.
Thank you, Sandra. The direct from Rosetta Boom,
Rosetta Ngumukasa Cameroon. The problem here is not only with respect to the fact that we are not getting some information from the symposium. It's also related to the fact that the people we invite to come and do as speakers, they are also discouraged by the numbers. So at the same time, we cannot rely on recorded videos because we're not going to be there in person and it can be discouraging for the speakers. So it's a two-way problem.
Desire. C'est Fabien Burkina Faso. First of all, I think this motion is just to not have RA on the same day of the opening ceremony. First. Now, if we want to add more day to the symposium, I think it will be too long, as you were saying. It's not just about money, but about time. Leaving our country for more than 10 days is big, is too long. Now, what I propose is that the official delegate can also come during the LIT and at the evening, because after the LIT we don't have things to do. So at the evening we can start the era, and the day of the opening ceremony we don't have era. So we started the first day of the LIT, second day Thursday, and we skip just the day of the opening ceremony, and we continue with the era. I think we can have like 3 hours per day after LIT to do our regional assembly.
Thank you,
It depends on. She was asking at what time the LIT finish and the day, the time during the day. I think it depends on what the welcome country choose. We can finish early at 4. Okay.
All right, thank you. Thank you for that suggestion. Coming to LIT has a minimum hours for official documents that it has to take. And for those who managed to attend it, you saw that the program starts in the morning and it ends at the evening, most days. And most of the time people are somehow tired. One of the main reasons we are also in this motion is to avoid exhausting the official delegates during the afternoon. So then, consider them having LIT the whole day. I'm sure you were here for the LIT. You saw where we were ending. And then after the LIT, we can also have the RA at the evening. So to me, it sounds somehow exhausting. But then there's something I was thinking. The main reason why we're having this topic is to make sure that the opening ceremony or the sessions that we do on the opening ceremony, we are able to attend, and also speakers speak to a very big audience that they can even get louder to spoke to African pharmacy students. An opening ceremony is only one day. For the meaning of the days, there are usually some session and workshops. I'm not so sure if you are also claiming that you can attend also all other workshops planned during the APS. If not that, then you can propose that on the opening ceremony, we all both attend the opening ceremony only, and then on the following day, we can start our RA, the World Day. So if we start our RA on the second day and do the World Day, then also we can request every vote of the APS a minimum of 3 days to make sure that we can be able to finish the RA physically. I don't know if that is making sense. Gideon, RPC Rwanda.
Hello, RPC Rwanda. I want to bring a comment which is kind of solution to this motion. Actually, extending days for the event, for this event, it relies upon the finance of the event, which is even high for some people. So, if we can start the RA on the second day of the main event, I think depending, we can recommend the country which is going to organize the event to make sure that everything is put in place, like the room for the RA is well organized in the morning, so that at least at 8 in the morning we start our RA, and then we can end it up even at 9 by the evening, just to save, like, we can work hard, like 1 day and a half. It's very possible to end up the regional assembly if you have started on time. So I think after that 1 day and a half, we can attend other sessions. Because I don't think it's possible to attend the whole sessions or at the same time you are attending the RA. It's not possible. Thank you.
Cecilia Chirwa, Kisha Zambia.
Cecilia Chirwa, Kisha Zambia. Okay, seeing as extension of the symposium is not feasible financially and time relating to academics, I think we can just work on adjusting the schedule for the symposium, the timeline, so we can dedicate, since main symposium is usually 3 to 5 days, from the second day we can dedicate a few hours to the RA, so that the important activities that we are supposed to take part in those other days, we can also at least try to take part in. And we should also just work on time. If we dedicate 3-4 hours each day to RA, we stick to that time so that we don't enter into the other programs and end up missing them. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Cecilia, for raising that. It's like also you reminded me one thing. There's one challenge that you have currently in Africa. You saw how we did our elections. We are now asking question after questions, procedural motion, we go. Sometimes we also have like some important documents that we don't even go through. I can say that every APS post submits a report, which also includes the schedule for that APS. Most of the time we don't even open it. We don't open it. And at the end of the day, we complain that things didn't go the way we wanted, but the schedule was already presented and we didn't even want to comment on it. So maybe for the next RA or for the next RA that we'll be doing, I can highly recommend that please go through the document, open and see if they align with what you want. If it is not, please leave comments. let them know that that is not what you want. They can adjust and make sure that they don't bring a lot of maybe that are not necessary or that are going to be exhausting you. I don't know if that makes sense. Coming then on the point, I can see some participative motion there. But okay, maybe it is a procedural motion, but I would like to maybe if you could allow that we conclude on this motion, please. Procedural motion. Okay.
I'll kindly request to proceed to the next motion and leave that as task, because the next motion that we proposed is actually giving answers to this motion that we are discussing.
For clarification, the next motion is not referring to this one because the next motion says this the continuous IPSF of Regional Assembly mandate the reception committee to ensure that the Regional Assembly is held in a venue with food and refreshment service provider for time management and ease of discussion in the Regional Assembly and main symposium. This motion shall be achieved by the continuous IPSF APS 26. Once achieved, this motion shall not be reviewed. From my point of view, I don't see it answering for what we are discussing.
Okay, can you describe it? Okay, we propose that motion because actually that's how we actually did that to Tanzania. The places where we hold the conference is the same place, might be also the same place where the delegates will be staying, and also the same place where we can have the room for the regional assembly. If at all we are having the caterer in the same place that we are having the conference and where the body delegates will be staying, means we wouldn't have to migrate from one place to another, wait for food to either come earlier or late, and even making it easier for us to attend both the conference or the symposium and even do the RA, the regional assembly itself. Meaning that we could start with the normal conference, then at least at 4 p.m. in the evening, while the regional assembly delegates come and start the regional assembly, others could do, or maybe at 2 p.m. as such, because we'll be staying in the same place, so we can even extend time. Even if we go to 10 p.m., we are living in the same area, we're eating in the same area, it doesn't hurt us. It doesn't have to work miles over us. So that's what I was trying to describe in that.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to give one comment, then we go back to that one so that we can finalize it. The comment I would like to give on that, we are just doing this in a finance-wise way, if I can say. So, if we are doing our RA here at the University of Zimbabwe, and we pay 260 for 5 days, it will then mandate us to come and stay in the University of Zimbabwe, in the hostels. Imagine paying that amount and then come to stay in the hostels. That's one. Or, if we are staying in a hotel, which maybe has affordable rooms, but no room for the RA. It is then going to be posing another problem to the RC, making it like a must to go to find a hotel that will be having affordable accommodation, having RA room, having what and what, and also it will again come back to us. Because at the end of the day, we are going to see the RC increasing the registration rate. Because they are just going to be focusing on what we requested them. A hotel with rooms, with good rooms, with a room with what and what and what. Which is also going to be posing another problem outside of finance. I can understand that you can do it in your country as Tanzania, because maybe you might be having a few delegates from other countries, or maybe many are from inside Tanzania, but then consider this as an African symposium.
Yes, considering that, it doesn't have to align exactly as what I have. But you know, writing words and actually giving actual places a little bit different. But most conference.
Wait for information.
Okay.
Could you allow us to go and finish the first motion, because you are now bringing us to the next motion without completing discussion on the previous one? Alright, coming back to the motion, the proposal is that you can have the opening ceremony, and then on the opening ceremony you can have a learning for carrying with the opening ceremony. You can have an A starting at the evening, once you are not tired at the evening, but not concurrent with the opening ceremony. That is one. Secondly, we ask the RC a minimum of days that they have to make sure that the RA room is available for the official delegates to do the General Assembly. Is that okay with you all?
Did what you just say, like try to explain what we have there? Okay, but what we have there, what I'm trying to say is that the RA should be after the opening ceremony, which will consist of speeches until the flagship ceremony and at least 2 plenary sessions. So what we're trying to say is that after at least two plenary sessions, we can continue to have the RA. We weren't saying that we attend the whole opening ceremony, then in the evening we stop, we finish the opening ceremony, we come in the evening to finish the RA. I'm saying this because
So to clarify on that, so what if the RC then has planned for maybe 3 plenary sessions on that day? Because at the end of the day then, we are just going to be having another session where this will be out of the open ceremony then. Or you are also requesting the RC to not plan for more than 2 plenary sessions in the open day.
the reason why I stand by this motion, and many of you thankfully are also standing by it, is because of the flexibility of this motion. Because when you look at this motion, I keep on hitting on the ending part of the clause, which is will consist of speeches until the flagship ceremony and at least 2 plenary sessions. So this means that this motion gives us the opportunity to actually review the timeline of the AFPS. So if the plenary session mostly comes at the end, so if after the 2 plenary sessions, we see that, okay, maybe the next day we'll have free time or something, you can decide that, okay, we can stay for the rest of the plenary sessions and end the opening ceremony. But if per the AFPS schedule of a particular country, we see that there are a lot of time constraints, then we can now agree that, okay, we've come to at least 2 plenary sessions, and most of the AFPSs, okay, that I've observed that I know so far, are about 2 or 3. So we would have covered majority of everything. So this gives us the opportunity to actually look at what the timeline that the country hosting the AFPS has given us, to see whether or not we will have enough time to cover our RA. And one thing I want to say is that AFPS has come a long way. We've learned from mistakes over the years. Okay, so adjusting the whole AFPS time, adding these and those things, we can't eat our cake and have it. I feel like the timelines that we work with for AFPS is optimal for everyone, because when we are adding these, some people may not be able to write exam. When we are adjusting timelines, it's going to affect other things. So this motion gives us a lot of flexibility to adjust based on what we are being given with at that particular AFPS per that country. That's it.
Thank you. Is this motion clear?
Yes.
Can you now vote for it? So, continue as I count in your votes. And then they ask is that we have to attend at least 2 plenary sessions on the opening ceremony. At least 2 plenary sessions.
Okay.
So, yes, help us.
14.
14.
Yeah.
So the motion passes.
Thank you.
For the next host, RPC Rwanda,